Alright, so the outers are done. That was easy. Okay, now next up, I have to go ahead and get into the differentials again. Now this time, because there's less clearance back here, and I don't want to take off more stuff than I need to, I'm just going ahead and do at least these two by hand. Alright, so that was out. One. And this is set up the same as in the front. You have the two lower retaining screws and the two uppers. And the ones up top are shorter than the ones down below. Alright, got that. These just come right out. It's got like one more thread in there. There we go. Oh, what are you stuck on? There we go. Alright. Go away. Alright, so let me just go ahead and pull this one off. So I can pull the pins. So this guy comes out, pins come off, just like before. Now this comes out like that. Now I could just say screw it like last time. Well, no, I still have to take off these yokes. There's no way around it. So there we go. Got a set screw in here. Set screw, stud, whatever you want to call it. Okay, this one pops off here. So I'm just going to pull it off and then put it right back in so I don't lose it. And just like last time, we'll take the opportunity to just go ahead and give a quick brushing of everything back here. Like I said, you don't get in here too often, so you might as well clean up a little bit while you're in here. And like I said before, since I spray my stuff down with a little coat of light oil, good old WD-40, I'm going to have a little sheen of residue anyway. So it's kind of a win-lose situation. It repels water, but it attracts dirt. So you end up with this little, coating of grime on everything. But a little coating of grime is much better than rust on everything. So as you can see, the surfaces back here seem to be nice and corrosion free, which I'm pretty happy about, because like I said, Dizzy has had a pretty hard life. He wasn't always strictly on road. Alright, so that's easy. So now blow all the... Okay, beautiful. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and take off the last two screws on the bottom that are holding the differential in place. Get some more torque. Okay, maybe it's just because I didn't know what the heck I was doing up front, but the rear seems to be going a lot quicker. Okay, so what do we have here? Okay, and of course, I forgot to do those two up top. I'll go ahead and get those. Oh, this is interesting. Never thought about this. Okay. What I'm observing here is the fact that, given that I didn't take out that differential, they say didn't take off the shock tower, it opens right up. Wow. I did not know it would do that. That's a lot simpler. All right. I'm going to claim I knew that was going to happen. Okay, no I didn't. All right, so differential comes right out, and just like before, got the two on the sides, and now that I've decoded my little chart here, I can match up which ones are which ones later. Doesn't really matter though, because, well, again, I think that these are them. So looking back over, what will we have? I've got a 688. That's a 688. So that's a 8 by 16 by 5. And then I have a 701 and a 701. Where is the 701? 701 over here. That's not for that. Okay, so here we are. This is a 700. That's what this guy is. So I have the right parts. So I take off one of these. Go ahead, put it right here. So this guy goes right on here. This guy goes right on here. Bang. Beautiful. I need to set this aside for 1 second because I need to get this guy here. So this gear here is supported by this guy. And this guy, nice and crud coated, I believe is that 701 that we were just looking at. Yes, it is. So this guy, I'll just leave this in here. So 701. Now the first time I didn't really spend a whole lot of time trying to clean off. I mean, I'm just going to use my little towel here and just get a little crud off of here because it looks like a little bit of water. It looks like a little bit of moisture got in there. It didn't seem to do anything, but there seemed to be a little bit of a mucky sheen there. So only takes a second. Alrighty. So it's now water free. I'm just wiping this down too. Now again, I'm going to stick to my pattern and put a little bit of grease inside the teeth. Just because I can. That's a washer. Did I forget to put a washer on one of these guys? Yeah, it sure looks like I did. Why didn't you guys tell me I forgot a washer? I could have sworn I put that washer on. There's a washer there. Let's check the other side. There's a washer there. Okay, I might have just had two in. Okay. Alright. Alright, back to work then. Alright, let's snap this back in place. There we go. Snap this one back on. Yeah, I'm not really sure where an extra Teflon washer would come from. There's a little play in here. It's got me wondering now. Okay, I think I get it. There's more play on this side than there is on the other side. I think that extra washer was to try to take out some of that play. Well, even if it wasn't, that's what I'm going to use for it now, or use it for now. Alright. So there we go. Yeah, that's much better. It's weird. Yeah, I guess I just didn't notice. So I didn't expect there to be two washers in there. Of course, it's been a long time since I built this guy up, so maybe I put that in and just completely forgot about it. Alright, so let me go ahead and get this wiped down. Some extra crud out of here. Just looking it over, giving it a little inspection. Because like I said, you don't get these parts apart very often. So while you're here, it doesn't hurt to just go ahead and take a look to make sure that everything's good. Or at least everything is actually like it. Okay, so I mean, it looks all good. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this down here too, like before. Alright. So, just like I did on the fronts, I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of grease along here. Now this, a lot of people will say this is unnecessary. You don't have to do this. And actually, some people will say that if you do use a lubricant, you should use some sort of very light, dry lubricant or something along those lines. Heavy duty grease is overkill. It's going to lose too much. I hear all that, but the way I look at it, you're going to be generating so much heat on the high speed runs with this stuff, you know, that it's going to, you know, it's cheap insurance. Yes, it might not be the most effective thing in the world, but it's better than nothing. So again, this guy slides on right there, and he just drops in a hole like this. I can't believe I got that on the first try. I just knew I was going to have to wrestle that in place. Okay, so now I can drop this down, and I've got my grease on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a few turns, and that's just going to work that grease into all the teeth. Now, centrifugal motion, as soon as I do my first run up, you know, at full speed, all that extra grease that you see there is going to get flung to the outside of the differential housing. So the only thing that's going to be left on the gears is a very light coat anyway. So, you know, it's like I said, a very thin protection, but it's protection nonetheless. Okay, so I take this and I can put this right down inside of here. Okay, so that's retaining my sway bars. And I'll just go ahead. Now, these sway bars are important. It's important when you adjust these that you just want them to be, they want to be just tight enough so that they hold it together, hold it in place. But the sway bars need to be able to move around. If they're cinched down hard, then they're not going to be able to do their job, because they have to be able to transmit load from one end to the other. If you push them down too hard, then they can't do that job. So you just want it to have a slight amount of drag, just like that. All right, so now, before I put everything completely back together, I'm going to do the same thing I did on the fronts. We'll just put a little bit of oil on the inside of this. Again, you make the argument that this really doesn't do anything, you know, but just a slight coat of lubrication is just going to make this travel in and out better. And plus, remember, this is a this oil actually repels water, so that'll help keep water and dirt from getting down inside of here. Again, like I said, it's not, in the grand scheme of things, you know, I mean, there's things that are going to give you tens of percents, and there's things that might give you tenths of percents. This is probably a tenths of percent type of thing, but I'm here, and it might not do anything. It might do something. So I figure, you know, might as well just go ahead and do it. I already got the stuff. Only takes me a moment. All right. So now that that's back together, I can go ahead and put the A-arms back in place. Well, first off, I'm going to go ahead and secure these up, and then I'll put the A-arms in place. So see if I can reach in here, turn this bad boy. There we go. So now I got this. Loosen up the stud. Now, while I've been lubricating things like crazy, you know, you could ask, why didn't I lubricate these little U-joints? And that's a good question. Why didn't I lubricate those U-joints? Well, I don't really think that it's going to make a huge difference, but then again, most of the stuff I've been doing today hasn't really probably been making a huge amount of difference. But the nice thing about these little U-joints is that they're easily accessible. So I can just get in there and put a couple little drops of oil on it. And, you know, it'd be a very simple thing to do. Actually, let me, before I go on to the next ones, I'm just going to go ahead and put the retaining screws in just to hold the two halves of the differential together. So had I been thinking, I probably could have done this exact same thing on the fronts. So to keep the shock towers and everything together and not having to completely disassemble that front part of the differential. So next time I tear apart the front, I'll try doing it that way and I'll report back to you. How's that? And again, bolt screws turn a lot better if you actually use the right size one. Now, just as an aside, I mentioned that I only needed 3 sizes of drivers to do this job, and it's looking like that's holding. So the large structural screws have been the 2.5 millimeter. The medium sized ones, like this guy I'm turning right now, that's 1.5, I'm sorry, that's 2mm. And then the set screws, or the bolts or retainers, whatever we want to call them today. These guys right here on the yokes, those are 1.5s. But pretty much that's it. Nothing exotic. I mean, I probably could have done this entire job using the stupid little Allen wrenches that they gave us in the kit when we bought these vehicles. I personally would not want to have tried to do that, because that would have sucked. It would have been a pain, but I could have done the entire job just with those rudimentary tools. So I'll take my hat off to Traxxas, say that's actually not bad engineering. It's having fewer parts is good, but I'll just say to the viewers out there, having decent tools to actually make the job go a lot easier, it just makes life a lot easier. Okay, comes right out. Okay, so this guy can just slide right on. There we go. Beautiful. So now this goes right in, or at least it would had I lined it up right. Perfect. Right in the hole. Beautiful. Okay. Just double check both sides. Alright, that's good. Alright, now the pins go back in. Here's one. Okay, let's get the other one. Let me go ahead and get go ahead and get these two little retainers from the bottom. Turn the torque so that it's a nice little setting. There we go. Beautiful. Alrighty. So now this little guy goes back on. Pop and actually I got it backwards. Beautiful. Put this on. Just kind of hold it in place. Get this thing upside down again. Yeah, it's upside down. There we go. Okay. I don't know why it's so difficult for me to keep track of which way these things are supposed to go. And is that, no, that's wrong. I had it right the first time. Like that. Or not. This is really pathetic. Okay, that doesn't look right either. This is hilarious, as a matter of fact. Okay, what's going on? Okay, so everything's in here. This goes down like that. That goes like there. And that. And that's it. Okay, so I just had it. Just didn't have it lined up right. Okay. That's bad. Okay. So, this is a completed rear clip with the ceramic bearings in place. Alright, so this might not have been textbook Traxxas, you know, exactly how you are supposed to do each of these things, but everything is assembled and it works. So, I'm not going to really shake a stick at it. So next up, I'm just going to, next video, I'm going to put everything back together and, you know, just kind of show how it all, oh, I almost forgot. Slipper clutch. Now this guy right here does look like it's got water. So if you look at it closely, you can see that there's like mud on it. And that's because the slipper clutch is probably one of this particular bearing is in one of the most exposed parts of the RC, you know, so it's more open to the elements. So again, it did have a good amount of crud on it, but, and it's got crud on both sides, but because I already had it coated with water repellent grease, you know, there's no actual corrosion on it, and the bearing motion feels nice and smooth, very smooth actually. It feels really good. So that one is the last one, and that's the 700, just like before. Slides right on, right here. So let's go ahead and grab the chassis again. So let's just go ahead and just get my little rag in. I'll flip it upside down so you can see better. Okay. So you can see got a lot of crud in there. This is mainly, there's a lot of grease in here, but that's kind of on design because I want it, you know, it's a water repellent grease. So if everything in here is coated with water repellent grease, when water gets in, it gets repelled. So that's actually kind of a protection mechanism. So yeah, so everything's pretty good in here now. So this slipper, and I should say this pinion, actually this is a spur. The spur and the pinion have been really well coated and burned in with a good coat of grease that's, well, for the most part burned off. So it's got, you know, a good protectant coating on it right now. So what I'm doing here, I'm just putting a little bit of grease on these threads here. And this is, again, to repel water, but also the way that the Traxxas design goes, you have the dry shaft and this just kind of slides down the side of it. So it's free to kind of float around. Now, it's locked in place, so it's not really moving a whole lot, but there is some in and out motion just because. So anytime that there's metal pieces moving together in motion, and actually anytime you have dissimilar metals, because the dry shaft is aluminum and this is made out of steel. Now I just like to have a lubricant there so that, because when you have dissimilar metals next to each other, that actually breeds corrosion. Because kind of go back into some physics on you. Of course, this channel is called RC Physics, so you should expect that by now. But to break into some physics, corrosion is actually an electronic process. You know, it's spurred by electric action in the ions, or I should say in the valence shells of atoms, where they want to ionize, and they want to basically they want to react to stuff. And we have two different types of metals next to each other. They want to react that much more. So having a lubricant, having something there that kind of helps the anti-corrosion factor, you know, it's just a nice thing. All right, so now you see slipper clutch is back in place. It's got the gear mesh, so these guys are meshing pretty well. So you've got a good amount of lubricant already in the gears, so that they have a nice smooth motion. You don't hear any sound going through, just the motor clicking along. So that's all pretty good. So the next video, I'm actually going to put everything back together, and then I'm just going to do a really quick just run up, just to make sure that everything seems to be acting okay, and then just then finally I'll have another video where I benchmark the new bearings, and then I crunch the numbers, and I'll be able to tell, you know, which ones reign supreme. Oh god, I sound like Iron Chef. No, but seriously, I'll be able to go in and crunch the numbers and do some good calculations and see if my numbers indicate that the metal bearings, sorry, the ceramic bearings, actually do anything differently than ceramic. Sorry, let me say that one more time. I can go in and I can crunch some numbers, and I can see if the ceramic bearings are actually any more efficient than the steel ball bearings that come out of stock. I mean, because honestly, like I said, the stock bearings, they do a pretty good job. So I have a feeling the ceramics probably do a better job, but we will see. All right, guys. Remember, as always, to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook. You see the link below. Go ahead, check it out, like it, engage in some conversations. You know, just, you know, it's a good place to hang out, exchange ideas, or just tell me what you think, or tell me what you think about me. All right, guys. So again, as always, remember the mantra: fly, fix, fly, break it, fix it, do it all over again. Our House 21 signing out. Until next time, peace.